A week after Yua's 13th birthday, the day arrived where Yua will be leaving for her trainee for witches. She was very excited, but nervous as well. Yua had been packing her and Apollo's things for the trip. You excited for your trainee for witches? Gigi asked, seeing Yua packing her and Apollo's things. Yep, today is the big day, Yua replied. You want to tag along with me and Apollo? No thanks. I'm fine here to keep Kiki company, Gigi answered. Suit yourself, Gigi. Today is the day that me and Apollo leave for a year, Yua said. Where are you heading to? Apollo asked. Slag Ravine to stay for a year, of course. Hiroto and his family are letting me stay there. Besides flying, I hope I can figure out my other skills, or just one other, Yua replied. Then she grabbed her stuff and made sure her hair was brushed out. Then she grabbed her and her headband and put it on her head. Then she grabbed her blue dress that her mother had bought. I adore this dress, Yua said, while enjoying the hue of her clothing. Blue is my favorite color. Now that's what I consider beautiful on ya, Yua, Apollo said. Thanks, Apollo, Yua answered, hugging her pet bird. Between you and me, girl, Gigi said, when your mother was your age, she hated her dress. When Kiki was 13 years old, she intentionally hated her dark dress, despite having it to look like indigo or violet. However, she grew to like her violet dress, even though she decided to wear a purple lawn dress to her senior prom in high school. Oh my, Yua said. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, it's alright, Gigi replied. She got over the hate of dark clothing a long time ago. Well, that's good, Yua said. Blue is my favorite color after all. Lily walked in the room as she was smitten by Yua's blue dress. Wow, she said. Yua, look at you. You're so cute with that dress on. Thanks, Lily, Yua said. That means a lot. Kiki then walked into the room, seeing how her daughter was doing. You doing okay, Yua? Kiki asked. Today's the big day, and I bet you're excited, and possibly nervous too. Yeah, I am nervous, but mostly excited, Yua replied, hugging her mother. I'm glad you're excited, Yua. I was excited to leave home too when I was your age, although sometimes I feel homesick, but I'm sure you'll pull through just fine, Kiki reassured her daughter. I'm sure too, Yua said. I'll even think about you and Daddy every day. Promise to write to us, hon? Kiki asked. Of course, Yua answered. They shared a mother and daughter hug. This moment was caused by Gigi to tear up a little bit. His wife Lily took notice of it. Gigi, sweetheart, she said. Are you okay? Oh, I'm fine, dear, Gigi said. I'm just so happy for Yua. He nestled close to his wife and began to sob his eyes out. Their children, Lilac, Daisy, Rose, and Max, began to comfort them as well. You okay, Daddy? Lilac asked. Please don't cry, Dad, Daisy said. That makes me want to cry, Rose said, tearing forming in her eye. I can't believe it, Max said. Yua's growing up. I know, right, Max? Gigi said. He was still crying, but his mouth smiled. No need to tears, girls. We all should be happy for Yua and Apollo. Kiki and Yua took a notice of the cat family sharing a cry. Oh, Gigi, Kiki said. Come here, guys. She motioned them, allowing Gigi and his family to come closer and share a family hug. Apollo wrapped his wings around Yua's shoulder during this time. When nightfall came, Yua and Apollo were ready to head off. Her parents, along with Aunt Sono and even Uncle Fukio and Akito, were there with Gigi. Lily and her kittens as well. Yua was all ready to set off to her way to Slag Ravine. Are you sure you'll be okay? Tombo asked. I'm fine, Daddy, and Apollo and I will be fine together, Yua replied. We have each other, and I'll write to you and Mommy. Yua hugged her dad as he hugged his daughter. Then Yua got on her broomstick and took off nicely. Unlike Kiki when she was her age, she did have trouble flying, but since Yua was very experienced with flying since she was younger, she didn't crash into anything. Once her family waved goodbye, Yua and Apollo returned her to the wave as they headed off. As they were in the sky, Yua was flying on her broomstick, admiring her view of Cocorico. My first time leaving home for a year. This is gonna be great, Yua said, but I'm sure gonna miss home. I will miss home too, Apollo replied. When we get to Slag Ravine, you could see your boy that you like. Is that Hiroto you're referring to? Yua asked. She did have a crush on Hiroto since she was younger, and liked him as a friend. Yes, and he's with his parents that you're going to be with, Apollo replied. Of course, I like him, Apollo. What are you talking about? Yuwa asked. I am asking if you have a crush on him, Apollo answered. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. You'll have to see, Apollo. Now be my lookout, Yuwa instructed, as Apollo did what he was told. After a few hours of flying, they were in Slag Ravine, but since it was nightfall, Yuwa and Apollo couldn't see Hiroto's house by the mines, so they had to look everywhere, but they had no luck. I can't find Hiroto's house. Do you see the house we're looking for, Apollo? Yuwa asked, as Apollo looked everywhere, but he couldn't see anything. It's no use, Yuwa. It's too dark out here. We'll have to land somewhere for the night, and I sense the storm clouds are on their way, Apollo replied, as Yuwa looked at the sky. Lightning could be seen, so Yuwa landed straight for the ravine. Once they landed, rain began to fall. As Yuwa and Apollo found a cave not far from the ravine, they headed inside the cave for cover. Yuwa had brought her lantern and she lit up her lantern and looked around the cave. It seemed that nobody was living in the cave, so they decided to spend the night in the cave. Yuwa had made a campfire and made dinner for herself and Apollo. While they were in the cave, Kala was outside of the ravine. She had been spying on Yuwa for her and her companion Apollo. So that's the daughter of Kiki and Tombo, eh? Kala said to herself. Well then, now I know who she is. Kala then ran off and disappeared into thin air with magic, only to avoid being caught. The next morning, the sky had cleared up to have the sun shining in the air. Some clouds were in the air, but other than that, the weather was a lot nicer than the night before. Yuwa had grabbed her things, and she and Apollo headed off to find Hiroto's house. As they were in the air, they spotted Hiroto's house in the coal mine was. They landed down where they land, and when Pasu was outside, he was helping his son get things ready for work when they saw Yuwa and Apollo. She's here, Dad, Hiroto said. Hey there, sorry I couldn't get here last night, Yuwa started. It was raining last night and the storm was pretty bad. Hello, Yuwa. Hello, Apollo. So glad you're here. We were getting concerned for you yesterday, Patsu replied. At least you're here. Where were you last night to hide from the rain? Me and Apollo were in a cave in the Slag Ravine. We stayed there for the night just to keep dry, Yuwa explained. But we are here now. Glad you're here, Yuwa. You and Apollo must be hungry, Hiroto said. We sure are. Ready to head inside? Yuwa asked her companion. I'm ready, Yuwa, Apollo said. I'm starving Marvin is what they say. In that case, Sheeta said, taking something out of the oven. I've been cooking some pork. Wowza! Apollo squawked. His beak was beginning to drool with hunger. It fell on Yuwa's shoulder. Stop that, Apollo, Yuwa said, dusting the drool off of her shoulder. You're starting to drool. Whoops, Apollo said. Sorry about that. How was getting here last night? Sheeta asked. It was raining when we got to Slag Ravine, so we hid in a cave last night just to hide from the storm, Yuwa answered. I did hear thunder last night. At least you and Apollo are okay, Sheeta said as she served breakfast for Yuwa, and for Apollo, he got fruits with seeds to eat. Yeah, the storm was really bad when we got here, Yuwa replied as she and Apollo ate. I used to be scared of storms, but now I am not afraid of them, Hiroto said. I was scared of them too, but I eventually got over that fear, Yuwa replied. So Yuwa, what skill are you planning to train on? Patsu asked. It's okay if you don't know yet. It will take time. Well, besides flying, I'm not sure what my other skill is yet, Yuwa answered. I think there is another skill out there, just waiting to be found. Oh, I'm sure they'll be found out eventually, Patsu said. Well, when your breakfast is done, Yuwa, I could show you your room, Hiroto offered as Yuwa nodded and grabbed her things. Then she and Hiroto headed upstairs. When Yuwa and Hiroto got upstairs, they found some bedrooms with a bathroom. Whoa, this second floor is huge, Yuwa said, admiring the second floor of Hiroto's house. Yep, your bedroom is a spare room. It's between my room and my sister's bedroom, Hiroto said, taking Yuwa into the spare room. Well, that's wonderful, Yuwa said. That's very thoughtful of you and your family to take care of me and Apollo for my training, Hiroto. Well, it's no problem, Yuwa, Hiroto replied. My parents are more than willing to give you a helping hand to those in need. I think that's very sweet, Yuwa said. It sure is, Hiroto agreed. Hey, Yua, Apollo said. Any chance that our room has a bird feeder? Maybe, Yua said, pondering for a moment. As a matter of fact, we do, Hiroto said. My sister and I customized a bird feeder for your bird. Apollo squawked with excitement and flew over to the bird feeder to get a closer look at it. Pretty nice for you and your sister did a great job on this, Apollo said as he tested out the bird feeder. So Hiroto, what are you doing today? Yua asked. Well, we plan to go into town today, Hiroto said. My dad and I are heading to town as we have some mining to do. May I help? Yua asked. However, Hiroto was hesitant. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. You've never worked in a mine before, Hiroto said, when Yua gave him a stern look. But I'll see if my dad can teach you along with me to mine. Well, that will work out well, Hiroto. If I can learn to do it, I can do anything, Yua replied as she headed downstairs with Hiroto. Then they met up with Shita and Patsu outside. Dad, will it be okay if Yua comes into town with us? Hiroto asked. Yua does want to help out. Are you sure is this a good idea? Shita asked. Yua is here for her training, you know, so we gotta let her decide on what she wants. If Yua wants to help, she can. She's our guest after all, Patsu answered. I don't see why Yua can't help. If she can learn to do it, I can't say why not. Well, I think we should go for it, Hiroto said. Yua, then turned to face Hiroto and his parents. Patsu, Hiroto, and Shita, start your training and teaching with me. Any skills I've learned may prove to be useful, but who knows? Maybe my new skill may come as I spend a year here. Yua replied. I can see it now, Patsu sighed. You're a witch in Kokoriko. A witch in Kokoriko? I knew that. Yes, we all know that. You flew on your broomstick when you were only 3. Broomstick flying? And you were in the air, soaring with your mother. You inherit your parents' powers and surprised everyone. Was I wild? Know it in my heart. But you behaved when your parents gave you that look. Imagine how it was when you were flying across the brook. Look, we've got lots of teach to you and the time is flying fast. Let's see you walk heads up. Wriggle bearing. Now shoulders back and trying to stand tall. And do not walk but try to float. I feel a little silly. Am I floating? Like a little boat. You give a little bow. What happens now? Your hand receives a kiss. Most of all, remember this. If I can learn to do it, you can learn to do it. Something in you know it. There's nothing to it. Follow in my footsteps, shoe by shoe. You can learn to do it, too. Now elbows in and sit up straight and try not to slurp the tomato soup. I never cared for tomato soup. She said that like Dola, man. The salad, the chicken, dessert, and then goodnight? Not until you get this right. If I can learn to do it, if he can learn to do it, you can do it too. You can do it. Pull yourself together, and you'll pull through it. Tell yourself that it's easy and it's true. You can just do it too. Next, you must memorize the names of the miming team. Now here we have Izuki, Kai and Haro, and dear Kenji. Wow, and my pal Fuji, he's full of surprises. You got it, Yua? Somewhat. That's Romeo. He is tall. He's Momo. Has a zit. Fiero, he wears a straw hat. I hear he's gotten pretty fat. And I recall his blue cat. I don't think we even told her that. If you can learn to do it, I can learn to do it. Don't know how you knew it. I simply knew it. Suddenly we somehow felt someone new. Yua, your dream come true. If I can learn to do it, you can learn to do it. Just pull yourself together and you'll pull through it. Tell yourself it's easy. And it's true. You learn to do it too. Nothing to it. You can learn to do it too. While in town, Yua and Hiroto helped Patsu with the things in town that he needed to get them done. So Yua helped out by flying things to certain people, kind of like delivering them for free. Reminds me of the times we delivered items back in Kokoriko, Yua said. Wouldn't you agree, Apollo? I'll say, Apollo replied. Where do we go from here, Yua? Yua looked out of her list of customers that she was supposed to deliver items to and said, let's see here. After a few seconds of examining the list, she finally said, we need to deliver a couple of diamonds to the museum. Where's that? Apollo asked. How about across the lake on the bridge? We'll fly over there, Yua said, as she along with Apollo flew across the lake to the museum, where they delivered a couple of diamonds to them. While they were staying in Slag Ravine, there was so much more to discover for them. What brings the future between Yua and Hiroto is still waiting for them.